The story of American Motors Corporation AMC. On May 1, 1954, the largest corporate merger in the history of the U.S. happened. The newspapers carried it, and the television could not stop discussing the future of these two corporations. The big merger was between Nash-Kelvinator Corporation and Hudson Motor Car Company. Nash-Kelvinator Corporation in itself was another merger. In 1937, Nash Motors and Kelvinator Appliance Company merged to form this corporation. When Nash-Kelvinator acquired Hudson Motor Car Company of Detroit, they went into a mutually beneficial merger of what is today's subject, American Motors Corporation. George W. Mason founded this automotive company. In the beginning, he was looking at a merger that could reap benefits from beneath the top three largest automobile companies. They needed their combined workforce and capital to create a name for themselves on the scene. This merger was to include Packard, but the deal did not go through because James J. Nance, president of Packard, negotiated for the CEO role of the new company. Since the vision belonged to Mason and he had planned on the specific leadership style for the company, they could not agree and stuck to two companies instead. Packard eventually acquired Studebaker 2 months after the AMC merger occurred. Another 4 months later, Mason died and was replaced by George Romney. Still ahead is Romney's political career, so stay tuned to find out more. In the first 4 years, the company failed to record any profits. From recording $12 million to $29 million losses, they miraculously started recording large profits from 1958. It is considered one of the most impressive comebacks of an American company, especially if the leading officials of the company have publicly declared that things are so bad, they might consider shutting down. The company was making 60% factory sales and making over $108 million above their previous year amounts AMC produced. Automobiles, military vehicles, buses, delivery vehicles, sport utility vehicles, major home appliances, and commercial refrigerators. American Motors was successfully producing cars and major appliances while fighting major competition from the three largest automotive corporations at the time: Chrysler, General Motors, and Ford. The production line produced top-quality cars with memorable names and created a name to continue riding on the wave of their popularity from the merger. Their selling point as a company was that they had a tighter budget, but they managed to design cars fit for the masses left unattended by the large corporations, like their three top competitors, for example. If you are new to this channel, we encourage you to subscribe to more informative and entertaining content. Dick T., the chief designer and stylist of the vehicles, are created for the marvelous work to create luxurious designs with a very small budget. This small car company made some famous cars like the Rambler American, a remodel of the Nash Rambler from 1950. Hornet and Gremlin were also under the small car section of their production. The small cars were the newer models designed for the company and not a repeat of Nash cars. Javelin, AMX, and Marlin were also available in their fleet. That brought their success. They were producing cars that did not compete with those from the big three corporations. It was the first real 4x4 crossover on the US market, if you remember Eagle. This fame made everyone who worked with the company very respectable. In 1962, when Romney resigned from American Motors, he ran for governor of Michigan. He went ahead to contest as a presidential candidate and was widely respected. Unfortunately, he lost the Republican primaries to former President Richard Nixon in 1968. He would have won the primary election, but for this setback. This popularity came with customer satisfaction with the brand he managed. The Motor Trend Award especially awarded Car of the Year to the Rambler models several times. If you want to know how things went downhill from such high grounds, please keep watching. Suddenly, the tide changed. The 70s came with a burden that AMC could not quite fight off. After Romney, the successive CEOs were not able to introduce new models of their products as competition increased in the small car industry. They were also started to struggle to sell and make financial changes. Chrysler had taken over a massive market share with their new models. At the end of the 70s, the AMC was only making money from buses and military vehicles, so the company collaborated to sell and build cars designed by the French car manufacturer Renault to raise money for their dying production plant. The partnership started well, and Renault owned a 46% stake in AMC. However, by the mid-1980s, both companies were back to losing money. AMC continued to see money only from their Jeep and not from the Renault partnership. Somewhere along the lines, leadership reduced production cost by 25% and streamlined all finances. But as of 1986, there was no turnaround. So in 1987, Chrysler offered to buy out Renault from the 46% stake. They bid on $4 per share and paid royalties to Renault until 1991. Chrysler, upon further consultation, decided to buy out the entire company. The buyout price for American Motors was $1.5 billion. According to the New York Times in 1987, experts said that the buyout was not a smart business move. Chrysler had to find another $1.2 billion to create vehicles that stood a chance to rival the company's Jeep at the time. Renault left the U.S. market in 1987, and the Eagle car, both companies' flagship car, also phased out by 1998. Chrysler relied on many of the engineers from AMC, as they were open about being solely interested in the Jeep. So they renamed the company Jeep Eagle Corporation, a Chrysler subsidiary. The company finally merged in 1990. Although the company eventually failed after 33 years, some lessons begged to learn. AMC came out of nothing and was forced to innovate and reinvent themselves their entire time as a business. That is a business legacy that nobody can take from them. They were a perfect lesson of perseverance. On a lighter note, in April 2008, Hot Rod magazine published an article that gave details of a revival of American Motors. The article contained drawing of concept cars like the Pacer, Gremlin, Ambassador, Matador, and AMX. The famous article got the industry talking, but they later revealed that it was part of an elaborate April Fool's joke. The end of a successful era. Let us know your thoughts about this unsung trailblazer in the comments below. And tell us if you want more throwback stories about old automobile corporations.